And this is a quick video for the FAQ section about counter trend and pro trend, right? So we need to understand why the probability for counter trend is so low, okay? And I hope this video clears that up. So let's think about pro trend to start off with. What is actually happening? We have a break structure, break structure, break structure, and so on. What's actually happening? Let me draw another one actually. There you go. What's happening is we have a breaker structure, an OB, mitigation, okay? Breaker structure, OB, mitigation, okay? Break structure, OB, potential mitigation, okay? And let's think about counter trend. So in the exact same situation, what we want to do, we've got our POI here and we want to buy up towards that, okay? Let's see the difference. Okay, going pro trend, which is this one, okay, why is it high probability? First of all, it's pro trend. You're going with the flow, right? Not only that, you're going with order flow because you have breaker structure, mitigation. What does that mitigation mean? Invalidation point. Okay, breaker structure, mitigation, invalidation point. Breaker structure, mitigation, invalidation point. So we have somewhat of a solidified structural range to trade from, right? Whereas going counter trends, say we have this situation with a breaker structure OB, right? We're expecting price to come to this POI to continue going short. So some of us are looking to start looking for buys to go up here, right? What is the problem with doing this and why is this low probability? It's purely because in this situation, we can have this. We have this formation, we have this pullback, and then it does this, creates a new low, then it slowly starts coming back, then creates a new low and starts coming back, okay? This is a very rough sketch. Don't worry about the structure or something, or you know how this looks at this point. What I'm trying to explain here is the fact that we are trying to guess where the structural low is. Because in this situation, right, essentially we're trying to guess where this low will finish. We don't know that. And generally, although we have reference point to the left, I don't particularly like that because they're very old. They're probably going to be old POIs, right? It doesn't mean it needs to react. We need to follow whatever structure is telling us, right? So sometimes we may get a structural change here, okay? We've got our two rules. We've got a breaker structure, then another breaker structure, right? We're probably following lower time frame order flow, getting to that trade for this POI, and then price creates a new low, and then it eventually comes back. Obviously, in terms of order flow, it's going to come back to the POI to maintain it, right? But going counter trend, we are trying to guess where the structure point is going to change. It can change wherever, right? And generally, there's not really a reference point that we can go off. Or yes, there's imbalance, there's OBs that you can look for, but it doesn't mean it's not an ideal way to try and guess where the new structure points are going to be. So that's the difference between going counter and going pro trend. So if you're new and you're struggling with the going counter, stick to pro trend. It's not a problem. Like look at the EG trade. The EG trades, the short and the long, they make sense because we are trading pro trend. Okay, EG long is counter trend, but if you look at the lower time frame structure, you'll see exact same principle, right? But if you're struggling to go counter, just stick to pro trend. There's nothing wrong with that, and it doesn't reduce your chances of finding trades or anything like that. And if you're thinking like that, then you're being too impatient and you don't have the discipline. So next time you think about going for a trade, think about whether you're going counter or pro trend, and then think about the probability as a whole. And not only that, you should be putting in this in your journal to understand where your weak points are. Most of my losses come from these counters. Now I take the risk because I want to, and I'm happy to take the risk, but most of my losses come from here. My main wins come from the bigger time frame plays of the higher time frame trend, right? So I hope this video clears up the confusion between pro trend and counter trend.